Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Grade 1 stakes action at Los Alamitos on Saturday. This race for the 2-year-old fillies, it's the Starlet. Let's throw up the field. We only have a field of 5, but we've got 2 really good fillies. Donna Veloce, Breeders' Cup Juvenile filly runner-up 4-5. Bast, 2-time Grade 1 winner, 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. Mr. Baffert trains 7-5. So only a field of 5. 2 strong horses in here. I want to throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Again, in a short field, we don't expect the pace to be blazing, but the projector has it as a blue bar scenario with Donna Veloce expected to make the lead. I don't know. If I'm Drayden Van Dyke, I send Bast. He was really aggressively ridden by Johnny Velasquez in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. No matter how this shakes out after the first half mile, I'm thinking at about the 5 furlong pole, they hook up.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of tower over their competition in here, so it almost feels like it could turn into a match race at some point in this race. And you're right, it'll be interesting to see what Van Dyke does because he didn't ride her as aggressively as Johnny V. Johnny V took over for the last 2 Grade 1s. He was much more aggressive with his filly than Van Dyke had been prior to that.
We'll get to Bast in a moment. We'll start things off with the 1 Road Runner's Honor. This is a daughter of Honor Code getting an opportunity to stretch out for the first time. Game winner of the debut at Santa Anita going 5.5, then just ran into a very fast horse in the Desi Arnaz going 6.5 furlongs. I think with those 2 races under her girth, she is going to be fit and ready to go for her first try around 2 turns. She's bred to handle. It's just that her buyers are really light.
Bred to stretch out, that's for sure. So you would hope that the distance would get her to take a step forward, and it will have to be a very big step forward.
You make a good point about how Van Dyke rode Bast in her first 2 races. The first race, it really, I don't think, was by design. No. She didn't break very well, and Drayden had to have her 5 wide at the back of the pack, and she ran really well to be second in that race. They ran her in the Del Mar Debutante. I thought Van Dyke gave her a perfect trip, just in behind a 3-ply pace battle, and once she eased out on the turn, she was too much. Johnny V took over. She was up close in the Chandelier. She had to be, because the speed horse kind of just threw the rider at the start. Right. I was a little surprised how aggressive they were with this horse in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. We're going to turn into the stretch. This was one of those fast, early, slow, late races. Yes. Donna Veloce's already taken over. I thought she had a great trip, tracking a 3-ply duel on the backstretch. She's on her left lead. Bast is tired down towards the rail, but Bast was battling it out in between horses, and I like that she kind of has no quit. It's not like they're getting away from her this last 16th of a mile. Donna Veloce's very, very game. I thought Bast ran a nice race too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to get too far left behind when they're coming the last 5 16ths and 35 1. I mean, they were walking home in there. But you're right in that Bast, was just up there contesting it between horses the entire way, while the 1-2 finisher sort of sat a little bit off of it and then made their runs around the turn. Donna Veloce did make the first run into it. At the end of the day, maybe it cost her and maybe it didn't. Bast ran well in there, Dan, but there really was never a point from about the 5/16th home that it looked like she was going to win. And maybe the trip had everything to do with that. I just feel like she's good to be sure, but I still feel like she still has something to prove, at least as far as I'm concerned, because they're winning the Chandelier. Let's face it, she got it done in there. It was not a very impressive win.
Not at all, considering that there was no pace in that race, and she was up close to a big long shot, and she really had to battle it out. I think there's some concern about the distance here. Even though she has won it a mile and a 16th, and she ran well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies, I wonder if you deal with a legitimate speed like Donna Veloce, can she go a mile and a 16th, especially with this long stretch? I do think she has some talent.
Me too.
I don't know. That last race, I kind of saw her doing a lot of the heavy lifting in between horses. She put the 2 other paces away. Donna Veloce blew her doors off at the 5/16. I like that she stayed on. This is a big test for her in here to see if she could stay with Donna Veloce, who just when she won her debut, you could tell she was a real good horse. Yeah. And she came back in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and okay, yes, she had a great position off the 3 horses, but that was also a very fast pace that she was close to. She made the first run into that pace, and a good horse in British Idiom. Yeah. Listen, she took British Idiom to the limit in the stretch there. Yeah. She's still a little green. She's the horse to beat.
Yeah, I think she is too. It's an interesting point you make about Bast, though, as far as the distance goes, because it does sort of feel like she hasn't really taken it to the next level since they've stretched out. Now, maybe circumstances have had something to do with that, but I worry a little bit about the distance. But I'll tell you something. I worry about the distance with Donna Veloce. I'm not sure how far she wants to go. She does have a lot of talent, though, and I kind of do agree with the pace projector. I think Pratt's putting this horse on the front.
Gim is the number 4, another one trained by Bob Baffert. 4 starts, 4 exacta finishes, only 1 win. It was this race at Santa Anita on Halloween, going a 2-turn mile in a maiden race, and I thought Gingham ran just fine in here. Took her way off of the pace. Is going to come with a run in the red hat, green silks, and is just going to run by these horses. Supposed to win the race like this. It's 3-5 against a subpar field, but I don't hold the first 3 against her. I just think she's a filly that's finally figuring it out. She's taken some time, and I think the mile and a 16th actually works for her. She's just too slow on paper right now.
Yeah, she is. I agree with that. I like the way that she finished that race off there to break her maiden. It's coming in with the figure she's coming into this race with, and then having to face Bast and Donna Veloce. Listen, at this stage of the game, they're 2 of the best 2-year-old fillies in the country. This horse has to really improve. Can
you make the argument that KP Dreamin's just a little bit dirtied up? I mean, she's an unlikely winner in this race, to be sure, but she beat Gingham going 2 turns at Del Mar in her second lifetime start. She had no pace to run at all in the Chandelier, and she picked up some minor pieces for third. And then in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, listen, she's 33-1 for a reason in that race. She just didn't belong there. Now, maybe she doesn't belong with the Donna Veloces or Bast, but I think she's a little bit better than she looks on paper.
I do too. I liked her races 2 and 3 back. I thought she ran well both times. At the end of the day, I guess she just couldn't cope with the fast pace last time in the Breeders' Cup.
She was just
and just never got involved. She's not. That's not supposed to happen to her in here. But once again, she's facing 2 fillies who just ran her right off her feet last time.
It'll be a really interesting dynamic the first quarter of a mile to see how Van Dyke and Pratt play the break. I think Pratt's going to go with Donna Veloce. They saw how really impressive she was in her debut on the lead. I think Drayden's going to let her go. I don't think he wants to get involved in a duel, especially if they're worried about a mile and a 16th. We put our picks up. They're going to turn into the stretch, I think, probably well clear of the others, unless Gingham takes a big step forward. I'm hoping that Bast shows a little bit more this time around, not having to do all the work. But it's one of those 2 for us.
There's not that much to choose from between the 2 of them. It's a nice matchup, though.
Yeah, nice matchup. In a Grade 1, the Starlet is at Los Alamitos on Saturday as an approximate post time of 3:28 Pacific. Good luck.